And let's get into our review of the Halo series. This is coming on Paramount Plus on March 24th. And I just want to say thank you to our friends at Paramount Plus for sending us the show for review. We got to watch the first 2 episodes of the show. For myself, I am a huge Halo fan. I have not played Halo Infinite yet. I do not have an Xbox yet. So you may be listening to this review of Halo and being like, I don't care what this guy says. He doesn't own the newest Xbox. His opinion is not valid. And you know what? That may be true.
No, that's stupid.
That's stupid.
Not even true.
That's not accurate at all. But I do have a love of Halo, especially for the first 4 games of the series. I played the shit out of everything, and this show has been a show that we've been, I think, waiting for a long time because it's gone through so many different iterations, different creators. Spielberg was announced to be, the one kind of shepherding this back in 2013, and then we had movies that were planned before. Then now we're here. With the show. This show was developed by Kyle Kellen and Stephen Kane, and it stars Pablo Schreiber as the Master Chief himself. Mm-hmm. Let's get into... So this is a bit of a different type of review for us. Let's get into our first reactions to the show and what your expectations were going into it. Shay, I'm going to get you to start us off.
We saw the first trailer, and it felt like the marketing was also really slow for this show as well. Like, they took a long time to kind of build it up. And when we finally got that trailer, I was like, oh, this looks kind of like Sci-Fi Channel.
Sci-Fi Channel for sure.
Very like just early 2000s kind of sci-fi. But let's give it a shot. I know that the lore of Halo can be very dense sometimes, so let's take a look and see what it is. And, right away, the show starts off with this like epic battle sequence, but it's so muddled in poor CGI, weird lighting, and just an overall set design that doesn't feel very alive. It just feels kind of like a set. And then the show continues to kind of move forward. And, I think Pablo Schreiber is a very good actor. He's done some great things. I've seen him. I think he's in 999 and Orange is the New Black, and he's great. But as Master Chief, I don't see it. I don't hear it. He looks like he sounds like he's trying to put on a very deep voice, and it doesn't really hit.
Yeah. He spends a lot of time with his mask off.
And he spends a good majority of the first 2 episodes without a helmet on, which, Dredd is a character that, Karl Urban played, and that character was known for not taking off his helmet, and he committed to that. Something that Sylvester Stallone didn't do in the original.
But also Dredd had the bottom half of his face showing. Did he not?
Sure, he had he had like a cowl, but still, he still didn't take off his helmet. That was the thing.
That was a commitment to it.
Master Chief, that's all we know about the character. He doesn't take off his helmet, and that's what creates that mystery. The show also then starts to move into the Mandalorian realm of, hey, we have this super powerful character. Let's give him a weak side character
to partner with
and run through the series. And it just felt cheap. It didn't feel... It just felt like a regular sci-fi show with a Halo skin that they tried to pass off, and it didn't. The first episodes really didn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you, Shay. As a big Halo fan, I think there was a lot of moments in the show that while I was watching, I'm like, hey, I recognize this, or that's cool. And seeing the weapons. I think Halo is known for having amazing weapons.
Yes. And
seeing that was really cool, and seeing the Covenant and all of those characters, but. Yeah, then you get to Master Chief, who does not have that commanding presence like Steve Downes does, the voice of Master Chief in the games. Yeah. You have Pablo here, who's doing his voice. It feels like you were saying, Shay, it feels like he's trying to sound intimidating, and it doesn't really work. And then when you kind of remove his helmet, you remove that mystery to him. He just kind of looks like a normal just guy in a suit, right? And it's hard not to compare the show to Mandalorian, because Mandalorian, what I think does so well is... You feel the presence of Mando whatever scene he's in, right? You know that when he is looking at you, you almost see the emotion, even though he's wearing a helmet. You don't really get this in this show, because they're relying on him taking off his helmet. And yes, for the story reasons, I get why they're doing that. But with Mando, you feel like this is a super powerful being who's doing everything he can to save people, where this kind of just falls into generic kind of sci-fi world. And the Halo world does have elements of that in their stories, where it just feels like, okay, we're these these Marines who are doing this thing, and it kind of it's not really super established. There's lots of novels and stuff that you could read if you're really big into the lore of Halo. Definitely there's a lot out there, but when you're going to a show, you kind of want something that's kicking you off right away. And you made a great point, Shay, that you said this kind of reminds you of like a 2000s sci-fi show. And it reminded me of that too, especially when you had moments where it goes into first person. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this feels like we don't know how to make a game adaptation of this, so we have to show you something that you recognize. Like, I think, like, was it Gamer? Was it Gamer?
Did that, and also
Doom, where it's like, oh, here's a first person moment, where it's like we're showing you that because that's what you know from the game. But yeah, there's definitely some rougher looking CG characters in this.
Yeah.
You know,
and, like, see, because Halo is such a world and heavily relying on CG. When you have CG that's not good, it breaks.
It stands out for sure. The weight of the characters feels different. It doesn't feel like they're a threat. You know what I mean?
And I have a lot of friends who were working on Halo, and they were going through tons of like stress to get this show out. And it just, like, you can see it. You can see it in the CG. That's just like, yeah, there's some good parts, and then a lot of it is not so good.
Right. And again, we know when it comes to CG, so much of it comes down to the timing of it, the budget. Time. It's always like what they have time to do and what's kind of the time that's allotted to them, right?
And that's what it feels like. This feels like this production was rushed out to get it out, just so we can get viewers and they don't forget about it, you know? But I don't I'm on the same boat with you guys. Like, it feels like something that a fan made.
Yeah.
You know,
I think I mentioned that. I'm like, it's like something you'd see on YouTube.
Yeah. Which is interesting too, because when we look at, the creators behind the show, they also had that quote saying, we didn't look at the games. We didn't look at those characters. They wanted to focus more on telling their own thing, which
That's
I get.
Red flag.
But it's also like, we're in a weird place when it comes to video game adaptations, where it's just like, just make something that's true to the source material.
Yeah.
You know, look, the games should be the first place you look at.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully they're taking those comments out of context from what we've seen from the Variety article, but it's definitely strange. Let's get to our final recommendations for the Halo series. So the first episode's coming out this week on Paramount Plus, which is here in Canada as well. Shay, start us off.
I think if you're an Xbox Games Pass Ultimate subscriber, you get
30 days. Yeah,
30 days of free Paramount Plus.
I thought you were making that up. I'm like,
no, I'm being serious.
It sounded like a joke at first.
I know,
but it's true.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's silliness. Skip it. I can't. I think if you want to watch Halo, watch yourself play the game.
Right, just open up Twitch.
Watch Halo, because there's no good storytelling, not really good acting. No one really feels memorable. Like, I was forgetting it as I was watching it.
Got you, Anthony. How about yourself?
If you're a Halo fan, it's hard to say skip it. I would want a Halo fan to watch it, so they
to get their thoughts and
opinion on it, because I think,
but they will. Halo fans will watch it.
And that's a good thing. And if you are a Halo fan, I want you to watch it. I don't know if it's going to be available in Canada.
It will be on Paramount Plus here in Canada.
Okay, perfect. So through Paramount Plus, watch it. But this is not like, if you're just, this Halo show looks cool, I would probably skip it, or maybe wait for the whole series to kind of come out and then watch it, because the first 2 episodes don't grip you at all. And for me, like, as I'm not a huge Halo fan, but I know the character and I know what he can do.
The character of Halo, yes.
Of Master Chief,
I'm kidding.
Of like the aliens and all that, the lore. Like, I just didn't find it interesting, and I think the creators went down a path that wasn't true to what we know of the video game.
It's funny because, this show, you could say like, if you're not a Halo fan, then you're not going to like it. Well, no, because this is a television show. This is a different medium now. Just the same reason why, like, if you didn't like the movie because you didn't like the book. No, these are different mediums. You cannot judge this show based on your love or hate of the video games, but you can judge it on if it's a good show or not. Mm-hmm. And what made this a better show is, I think, maybe sticking more to what made the game so special. For myself, like what Anthony said, if you're a Halo fan, and like what Shay said, if you have Game Pass, see and watch it to get your opinion on it. Mm-hmm. But if I'm recommending this to general audiences, I wouldn't recommend the show to general audiences like I would Mandalorian, where Mandalorian crossed those boundaries of Star Wars. I guess I know it's still Star Wars, but it's a very different type of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And that show was a phenomenon, and it broke kind of barriers for the fan bases of people coming in to watch Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I don't think Halo is going to do that. So for myself, like I said, if you're a Halo fan, look into it. But if not, I don't think there's much here for you anyway. So I would say skip it.
It's sorry, real quick. I just wanted to say that it's really interesting with the words because I'm forgetting them now. What I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So now
you're just filling in space.
So now I'm saying
to
words
talk,
to really talk, and hopefully I'll get there. I remember now. So
See, it works. It works.
I get that. Like a lot of people say, not every episode is gonna be a banger,
right?
For a show like this. But when your first 2 episodes out of the gate are not gripping, it's not good. That's not a good sign. Like Book of Boba Fett, first couple episodes not strong. Granted, the ones about the Mandalorian were good, but still the overall show not great.
Right, but Book of Boba Fett also was coasting on success
And that's
of
true.
Mando. So we knew this character, even though this is his own show, this is more of a 0.5 to the last season of Mando, right?
Whereas Halo, it doesn't have a good footing.
Right, and I think one of the issues too with the Halo characters within Halo, it's just the Spartans themselves. Their armor isn't really unique looking in the show. So you have Master Chief there, who obviously you could point out like that's Master Chief, but everyone else just kind of looks like person in suit, right? Or a CG, Covenant that they're fighting. Right. So. Well, I'm curious to see where the show's going to go. The show started filming in 2019.
If you were expecting it to be like like something that's a slow start, that like, for instance, Breaking Bad, the start is slow, but then like really got better as it went. This is not going to. I don't have any faith in it being better than its first episode.
We know, like with if you're expecting something that's like the cinematics from Halo, whereas like the Blur animated cinematics, like the animation studio Blur, this really isn't what this show is going to be. But again, if you're a Halo fan, there might be something here for you, or you may be even more offended by it. So if you're a huge Halo fan, please write into the show, hello@TheMoviePodcast.ca, not Halo@TheMoviePodcast.ca.
That's true. We don't have that one yet.
We don't have that one. Hello@TheMoviePodcast.ca. Write in, let us know what you think. And as with everything, there's lots of reviews to listen to here on the feed. Don't forget, you could follow us at The Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. That was this time with The Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.